Alien bully hit a Deathworld girl in class, and seconds later, he needed a new face to Galactic. Academy's Xenobiology lecture hall buzzed with the typical sounds of a diverse student body clicking mandibles, harmonic throat singing, and the occasional burst of bioluminescent communication. Eleanor sat near the back, her human frame looking deceptively fragile among the assembled representatives of 200 species. Professor Zilthar was droning on about gravitational adaptation when Zex, a Vraxian from the high-gravity world of Vraxis Prime, leaned over to his companions. His bulk was impressive even by galactic standards, 8 feet of scaled muscle and bone. Density that would make a rhinoceros jealous, or so he thought. "Look at the Deathworlder," Zexcor hissed, his translator rendering his contempt perfectly. "Sitting there like she belongs. Soft-skinned vermin." Eleanor heard him. Everyone heard him. But she'd learned in her 3 months at the academy that responding to every insult would leave her exhausted. Humans were still novelties here. Their planet had only joined the Galactic Federation 2 years ago, and most species still considered Earth a hellish nightmare world that somehow produced sentient life. She kept taking notes on her datapad. Zexcor didn't like being ignored. His species had ruled the Madame sectors for millennia, and respect was something he expected, not requested. He stood, his shadow falling across Eleanor's desk. "I'm talking to you, Pinkskin." Eleanor looked up slowly, her brown eyes meeting his 3 yellow ones with an expression of practiced patience. "I heard you. I'm trying to learn. Maybe you should do the same." The lecture hall went quiet. Across the room, Damien, the only other human in the class, tensed in his seat. He'd become friends with Eleanor over their shared experience of being perpetual outsiders, and he recognized the dangerous stillness in her posture. Zexcor's crest flushed purple with rage. "You dare speak to me that way? Your species should have stayed in your toxic atmosphere where you belong. You're barely evolved enough." To his hand shot out, striking Eleanor across the face with what he considered a light, disciplinary slap. The sound cracked through the hall like a gunshot. For a moment, nothing happened. Eleanor's head had snapped to the side from the impact. Zexcor smiled, satisfied that he'd put the inferior creature in her place. That moment lasted approximately 3 seconds. What Zexcor didn't know, what most of the galactic community failed to understand, was that Earth's gravitational force was nearly double that of the average habitable world. Its atmosphere was corrosively its weather patterns could shift from calm to catastrophic in hours. Its fauna had spent billions of years in an evolutionary arms race that made the rest of the galaxy look like a peaceful garden, and humans were the apex predators of that nightmare world. Eleanor moved. Her hand came up faster than Zexcor's visual processing could track her speed, enabled by fast-twitch muscle fibers that had evolved to dodge predators and catch prey on a death world where milliseconds meant survival. Her fist connected with his lower mandible with the full force of a creature built to endure 1 g of constant gravitational pressure. The sound of breaking chitin echoed through the hall. Zexcor staggered back, his natural armor, which could withstand most conventional weapons, cracking like cheap ceramic. Before he could recover, Eleanor was out of her seat. Her second punch took him in what passed for his solar plexus, and the Vraxian, who weighed 3 times what she did, folded like paper. The entire exchange took less than 10 seconds. Zexcor collapsed, his breathing apparatus damaged, his face a ruin of broken bone structure and leaking biological fluids. The other students scrambled away, chairs clattering. Several of the more fragile species fainted from the sheer violence of what they'd witnessed. Eleanor stood over him, chest heaving, her knuckles split and bleeding that frightening red color that human blood always was. "Touch me again," she said quietly, "and I'll show you why humans hunted megafauna to extinction for sport." Damien was already moving toward her, his own body language protective and ready. Professor Zilthar, a peaceful Centaurian who had never witnessed physical violence in his 3 centuries of life, could barely form words. "Security," the professor finally managed to whisper into his communicator. "Medical emergency, and someone contacted the human embassy." Eleanor looked at her bloodied hand, then at Zexcor's shattered face. The adrenaline was starting to fade, replaced by the sick realization of what she'd done. "He hit me first," she said, her voice smaller now. Damien reached her side, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I saw it. Everyone saw it." The security team arrived, 3 heavily armed Calaxians in combat armor, and stopped dead when they saw the scene. One of them scanned Zexcor with medical equipment, his translator sputtering with disbelief. "Multiple bone fractures, severe cranial trauma, Deathworlder," Damien explained simply, as if that answered everything. which, in the galactic community, it did. As Eleanor was led away for questioning procedure, not arrest, the students who remained began talking in hushed tones. The story would spread through the academy by evening, across the Federation by the end of the week. Another data point in the growing understanding of humanity. They were small, yes, fragile-looking certainly, but they came from a world that was actively trying to kill them every moment of every day. They had evolved not just to survive, but to fight back, to dominate. Zexgor would recover, eventually. His face would be reconstructed, though he'd carry the scars. But his pride and his assumptions were damaged beyond repair. The Deathworlder had taught him a lesson that the rest of the galaxy was slowly learning. Underestimate humans at your own peril. They might look soft, but they were forged in a crucible that made the rest of the universe look like paradise, and they never, ever backed down.